Hi, welcome back. Well, we are here with Jessica Toth. She is the executive director of the Solana Center right here in North County. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. So tell me about the Solana Center and what you all do.
So we've been around for 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we were started in the San Diego area around Solana Beach, which is where we got our name from. And we were the first curbside recyclers in Southern California. So before that time, there was not recycling that would come right to your recycling truck that would come to your door. You had to take your recyclables elsewhere.
That's true, yeah. And I remember when that actually started.
And you would separate, you'd have your newspapers, your cans, and your bottles.
Yeah.
So today, that's a well-functioning system, and we have our site set now on another kind of resource that's ending up in our landfill that doesn't belong there. And that's organic material. So organic material is food waste and yard trimmings. And it's a particular problem for a couple reasons. One is it's the largest single category of any type of material that's in our landfills. 40% of what's going to our landfill is edible or compostable.
Really?
Yep. And it does not belong there, just like traditional recyclables don't belong there. So in fact, when you grow food, you're pulling nutrients and minerals out of the soil, just like if you mine aluminum out of the earth for an aluminum can. And so if you throw it in the landfill, it has no value anymore. It's not recoverable. It causes another problem, which is that it off-gases at a very potent rate. So it creates very potent greenhouse gases, much more than carbon dioxide, for example. So it's a very big problem. And so we're doing what we can to educate people and businesses about keeping organic material. So that's your yard trimmings and food.
How do you do that? What do you do?
So there's different things. We have a hierarchy. So we start with, first thing you want to do is reduce and prevent the amount of, I'll just take food waste, for example, how much food waste is going to the landfill, how much you're actually throwing away. So you can do things like, make sure you don't fill up too much on your plate, or clever shopping when you go to the grocery store, that you don't that you don't overshop. Making sure you eat leftovers or freeze them. And then, as I said, there's somewhat of a hierarchy, and you want to feed people in need. So if you're a grocery store or a restaurant that's throwing out a lot of edible food, you want to make sure that it goes to some people in need.
Yeah.
So there's statistics or something like 1 in 7 in San Diego County are food insecure, where they don't know where their next meal will come from. And we're throwing away 500,000 tons of food waste every year.
Wow.
A good portion of that is edible.
And one of the things you had kind of mentioned to me earlier is about how there's so many individuals who either, not to say that they, aside from being homeless or what have you, but folks who maybe are not homeless but just don't have enough food. So how do we get it from, for example, some of the big stores or restaurants to these individuals? So
we go into businesses and we'll help them identify, by starting with a waste audit, how much food waste they're throwing away. And often they will see, well, why are we overproducing this much cooked rice if we're throwing that much of it away? So they may change their processes, and they will also see how much edible food is just, we've overproduced a certain number of meals, caterers, for example. But what we're particularly focused on, and there are wonderful food rescue organizations who are doing that type of work. You also can feed animals. And what we're trying to do is that last bit before it possibly goes to the landfill. So if it's not edible, we want to make sure it's composted. And composting is a form of processing, recycling in effect, that captures those nutrients and turns them into a soil amendment, a very rich soil amendment. So you don't have to use chemical fertilizers on your soil, and you can use.
And people can compost at home.
People can compost at home, and so we've been teaching for over 20 years composting classes.
Wait, but before we have just a few moments, we have to let people know that they have to visit you at the San Diego County Fair.
Absolutely. We'd love to have people come out. We've got a couple different things there. We've got mid-scale compost, so we've got compost displays for businesses, so they can come and check it out and see what it would be like to actually be composting on site if you're a business. And we've got small-scale composting, residential composting. We also have new this year It's called the Eco Adventure. It was sponsored by SDG&E, and it's an adventure for kids with hands-on activities, and they can learn about water protection and conservation, as well as food waste.
And you'll be right in the center. That's where you are, right?
That's exactly right. In the infield farm, which is inside the racetrack, there's a wonderful farm with a pollinator garden and all kinds of really cool
So much for
things.
the kids. And your full name is tell us.
Solana Center for Environmental Innovation.
Perfect.
Please come check us out.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank
We're
you
going to
for
come and
having
check
us.
you out at the San Diego County Fair.